they have some kind of function that keeps my breasts out of my damn lap, then that would be a much better function.
Big titty sag, bruh. Adapt.
I am going to adapt. I'm going to adapt to surgeon.
Breast reduction surgery is the devil.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to find me Satan somewhere. Oh my God.
Don't call me God
Y'all
on air.
funny. I'll call you that in private. Anyway.
I'll call my private. Anyway.
I can't stand you.
Yes, you can. And if not, just lay down.
I know, you're adorable. Anyway. So welcome to The Threesome, the podcast where the three of us try to tackle 3 topics each week. And the 3 of us are Star, our optimistic realist.
Hey.
The center of our threesome would be Magic. He's our voice of reason.
What's up, motherfuckers?
And I am Storm, and I am the pragmatic contrarian of the group. So, let's get right in. Who wants to go first?
Me, because clearly I'm going to be the tamest fucking subject of the day. Woo!
My subject is tame, but go ahead.
Well, I got to be the wild one. Anyway.
You know.
Why should today be any different?
So, my question is, what did you want to be when you grew up and what happened?
My lifelong dream was to be a singer.
Ah.
I wanted to be, I don't know, Whitney Houston, Stephanie Mills, whoever. I just always loved music and I loved singing. Singing just brought about a certain amount of freedom, a certain amount of release for me. That's all I wanted to do. Pretty much what happened. Yeah, I had some kind of asthma, respiratory thing that lasted like a couple of weeks. And
you still have a beautiful singing voice, so why didn't you just pursue it?
My voice was not the same. It was weird. Like, I had like formal voice coaching and all of that other stuff, and there was a certain way that I took pride in my voice sounding. Like I could hit Mariah Carey notes with no problem, Minnie Riperton notes with no problem. My speaking voice,
because your speaking voice sometimes when you get excited,
but
you
my
start
voice
talking
changes. It does. Like right now, my voice is lower. I know it is. It's lower than what it normally is.
Yeah, but when I piss you off and you get excited, your voice, you start talking in registers that only dogs can hear.
Yeah, you know what? And we had that discussion yesterday, and seeing as how you can hear it, you may want to go get a blood test to see if you are part canine.
Hey, I've never denied being a little bit of a bitch. So
great comeback. I like it.
I feel your pain.
Yeah. My voice goes through this thing. Like back in the day, like before I had the attack, I had the speaking voice of like Michelle A, pretty much.
Oh,
not quite as bad as hers, but
anyway. Magic, you were about to tell us how your singing voice changed?
When puberty kicked in, my ability to sing was just over.
I don't believe that at all.
You ain't got to. It's still the truth.
I mean, let's hear a little James Ingram.
Let's not.
On the wings of love, the only way to fly.
Not James Ingram, but
I know it's not.
But I love that song.
His voice sounds like he would sing that very well. No, that's not.
You know what?
I think so hypothetically, but no.
I think you could do Jeffrey Osborne.
Yes.
Like just a little bit, but you're unwilling to try. But
there is a reason I was always rapping. I'm fucking light skinned. If I could sing, I'd get a fucking perm and get all the hoes. It doesn't work.
A perm?
Yeah. Why you need a perm? I don't.
Any of the rest of them black folks either.
So
okay, Ike.
So
Chris Brown got
when
one.
I was. Chris Brown is also, a little bit crazy. So
I think it comes with the territory if you're going to be in the field of entertainment.
Does it?
Yes. I've met a whole lot of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, as have I, but I've also met some people who were halfway normal. But those are mostly musicians, I guess, and not necessarily,
Yeah, in order to want the
front
spotlight,
men,
you have to be a certain amount of egomaniacal.
I guess. Probably
Trump
why I've
is the
never wanted the
president.
spotlight, but
Ba-da-ba-ba-dum-ba.
doesn't
Psh.
make me not crazy, just not egomaniacal, I guess. But when I was really little, I too thought I was going to have a career in the arts. I was going to play piano, and that was going to be my career. But then I thought I would be a veterinarian as well. Then puberty happened, and boys, and
Ooh,
my
yeah.
piano what my piano was a lot less important to me, I guess.
Oh, fast butt.
Yep.
There were better uses of my fingers. Okay. So
Oh, terrible.
No piano
yeah,
players had the
so
nicest finger game, but yeah.
I've already been accused of sexually harassing you, so I'm gonna stop it. But
You
Who
said that like it's
accused
a
you?
lie. What the fuck? Why you mad at the truth?
Who accused you?
he did, but
Anybody
that's
that was
okay.
listening? What the fuck?
Yeah, probably them too. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to do. And then when that left my mind, then I've always loved animals, so I kind of always wanted to be a veterinarian. Now, what had happened was, remember I talked about them boys? I went to college and the boys were plentiful,
Finger cuffs.
and my focus wasn't where it probably needed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, Here's something that people should really think about that's interesting. My GPA was good enough to get into medical school, but not really good enough to get into veterinary medical school.
Ain't that a bitch?
The pre-vet students used to tease the pre-med students about how easy it was to get into med school because we had to have a higher GPA just to be competitive. Like we had to have, I want to say, somewhere around a 3.6, and theirs was like a 3.2. So
Goes to
that's
show
what
where
happened to that.
priorities lie.
Some of it is because there are more colleges for human medicine than there are for veterinary medicine. So
And
it's more
veterinary, you're working
competitive.
with various different animals, whereas humans
Well,
are
and
humans.
it's more competitive to get into vet school than it is to get into medical school. And side note, we were encouraged as pre-vet students that if we didn't get into a veterinary medicine program to go ahead and go into human medicine. So
And
imagine how many
you only have to do
doctors
apes.
imagine how many doctors are taking care of y'all that really meant to take care of animals. But
And they wonder
anyway,
why black men don't go to doctors.
they should become them. So that's why I did not become a vet. And then I actually got into medical school and I went home for the summer and I took a job at a hospital. And those people irritated me so bad, I was like, no, I can't do this for the rest of my life. It's like I cannot be a doctor.
Wow.
So, but I've still worked at hospitals. And what I found is that surgeons are mostly assholes. You should know that.
God
Um,
Uh,
complex.
God complex, yeah, it's kind of necessary for them to be assholes, I guess, because you kind of have to think that you're the shit to cut into a human body. You
I
kind
would
of
think.
gotta feel that way about yourself. Their personalities just weren't working with me. So I was like, this cannot be my peer group. I'll go to prison. And so I decided not to go to med school, which, in hindsight, I probably should have done. And then I wouldn't be here with you bums. No, just kidding. I love y'all.
wow.
Eat a
Say it, just
whole
kidding.
dick.
Ooh, you gonna feed it to me, daddy?
Take it like a
Damn.
big girl.
I am a big
Get
girl.
a fucking room. Next topic.
I'm arrogant. I don't
Well,
pay for rooms.
Magic didn't tell us what he wanted to be when he grew up.
As a child, I figured out at a young age I was smarter than most of the people around me, more talented than most of the people around me, and more athletic than the rest of the people around me. So I spent a lot of years like, I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to fall into place. As I got into my later teenage years, everybody was on me like, you have to rhyme, you have to rhyme. I don't know if you want to call me antisocial or asocial. I don't like people. I don't like attention. Just cool being off in the corner in my own zone. But as far as when it came to making songs or battling or live performances, I was very much ahead of most of the people that were doing it for a living, and certainly far ahead of anybody that was around me. So I moved to Atlanta, and my friend that was there, she gave me a book. As corny as it sounds, it was entitled Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry. So I read this book and I
The
started
Bible.
understanding, yeah, I started understanding the business of it. And I don't give a fuck what any rapper says. There's not that much money in rapping. Basically, that shit is a bad loan with stupid ass interest that you have to pay back.
Oh well,
And
absolutely,
yeah,
yes,
it's damn near
yeah.
impossible.
'Cause
So
well, unless you're like a huge hit, because they nickel and dime you for every little thing.
yeah, then the percentage you get is fucking stupid. I don't know how you end up
Hmm.
paying taxes on a loan. It's a bunch of really goofy shit. I don't have the time to explain. Y'all got Google. But
Oh, I
after I
know how.
learned how
Listen,
the business
I
portion worked, I
know all
was
about
like,
it.
I can't do this for a living. So as I got older, it was just like, oh shit, I have a family. So I have to learn how to provide. I have to learn how to make shit happen for myself. So me and two other guys. I ain't gonna front like it's all me, but the three of us have a decent small business, and it's like, all right, I'm cool now. This is not at all what I imagined doing when I grew up, but the bills is paid and a couple dollars in the account. I'm straight.
Yeah, so it worked out for you.
At this point in life, like, nah, failure is not an option.
I feel you.
Shorty can't eat no books.
Yeah.
So, Star,
Yeah.
what are we talking about this week?
What's the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you during sex or after sex?
Magic.
Pretty sure mine's gonna be the most lighthearted out this shit. But there was this one chick I was messing with that, to put it kindly, was not built for the type of things I was delivering. So
Oh, she couldn't handle Nessie, huh?
it, yeah. Keep in mind, I'm young. I'm built like I'm built. I do stupid things like stick it all the way in and stare it like Kool-Aid. So if I do something like that, she'd take her hands and like clap my face. And I'm light skinned. You can't be doing shit like that.
Oh, so then y'all both had problems.
Clearly. I see nothing wrong with what I was doing, but what she was doing was assault. So there
Uh,
was that.
wow.
And she actually tried to stick a finger up my butt. And I'm like, wait,
Oh,
what are you doing? And she was like, oh, you don't like that? I'm like,
ugh.
nah, I'm not that dude. And that
Which dude
same
would that
day,
be?
yeah, we didn't last very long. That same day, she's riding me and she stops. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I think I'm bleeding. Like,
Mm,
okay.
you done punctured a uterus.
No, call me what you will. I don't give a fuck about blood. It is what it is. Do your thing. She's like, no, I have to stop. I'm like, all right,
Vampire.
cool. And she gets up off me and just a big splat of blood just goes all across my stomach. And I'm young and stupid. I'm like, I have to kill this bitch. So she's like, get me a towel. I'm like, okay. But before I could get up and like wipe myself off, she runs in the bathroom and gets a towel. So That's probably the most awkward I've had to deal with.
Okay, so I'm confused. Was this menstrual blood, or did you like puncture a uterus or something?
I have no idea.
Well, I would think you would have asked that question.
I was young. I
Yo!
was like, this bitch just slapped me, tried to stick a finger up my ass, and bled on my stomach. Fuck this bitch.
Mm, I don't
Sorry,
know.
ho, not a bitch.
Wow, because that's better.
You
Yeah,
don't know the
that's a
difference
lot
between a
better.
bitch and a hoe?
I know the
Mm.
difference. I'm just saying you preface the hoe with sorry. I think it's funny when men call me a bitch. I think that's man speak for I cannot control you.
No.
So
Have you ever seen Fear of a Black Hat?
I saw it a long time ago. Like I don't remember anything about it,
There's a
honestly.
point in the movie where the chick interviewing him goes, "What's the difference between a bitch and a hoe?" And he goes, "A hoe fucks everybody. A bitch fucks everybody but you."
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I differentiate.
Okay.
Stormy, has sex ever sent you to the ER?
Never. Sometimes directly afterwards, I might lose my hearing
God, I
for,
wish I had that power.
for like a few minutes or so. And the first time it happened, it freaked me out. Yeah, because I thought, oh my God, I have gone deaf. And it's not even completely deaf. You know how the sensation of like when you jump in the pool and you're swimming underwater, but you can hear what's going on
Mhm.
Yeah.
above the water? It's like that. That's what happens to me sometimes. Not all the time.
Did you ever get that checked out?
No, but me being me, the first time it happened, I freaked the hell out about it. So I did a ton of research about it. Turns out it's very common in women and in also some men.
I'm trying to figure out how to make that happen on purpose.
If it helps at all, it seems to be predicated by intensity. Like the more intense the orgasm, the more intense the hearing loss.
Me that I don't nut like that.
I'm going to need you to focus on your prostate health a little bit more.
It doesn't seem selfish when a guy's just fucking too nut.
No, I mean,
Yes.
yes. I mean,
That's what I
yes, but
thought.
no. I mean, yes, but
A lot of women, and this is so based on Twitter, go, okay, so a guy has to go this many rounds. In my mentality, it's
oh,
not a matter of
Oh,
rounds, it's a
rounds.
matter of get it
Okay.
oh,
right the
okay.
first fucking
I,
time.
well, here's the thing. It depends on the guy. I've been with guys where, yeah, we've gone multiple rounds, and that's cool. But it also depends on how I feel at the time. You know, if I got shit to do, I got shit to do, and that's just what that is.
Don't want to be fucking up the game.
So you are a one hitter and quitter? Is
Me?
that what you're saying? Yeah.
I don't fuck to come. To me, if I want to come, I'm going to jack off. If I'm going to fuck, I'm going to fuck. So I'm fucking to whatever point she can't take anymore. So it's not like I can't
Mm,
go back and do more afterwards, but I'm very much an advocate of give her all she can handle and let her go to fuck to sleep or leave.
no, well,
So then you jack off afterwards?
Not usually, maybe the next day.
mm. Okay. Here, I
I'm
would go
so
into the whole.
confused.
We'll have a prostate health discussion later
Yeah,
at a
that's not.
later date.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well,
That's not where I'm at in my head.
okay.
In my head, why aren't you coming during sex?
It defeats the purpose.
No, it doesn't.
I'm a giver. What do you want me to say here?
Okay. Well, what if
I
she
mean,
is too?
I'm so not mad at
I
you,
mean,
and
kudos that
Yeah, I'm
if
not
she's
mad
you're
at
not.
you
you're
for it.
liking, but
Right.
I,
Yeah, I'm not mad at you, but I'm just saying,
yeah,
she could be
like
a giver too, and
I don't know. It seems weird to me to fuck solely for the purpose of coming.
No
Well,
one
you
said
don't
so.
have
No
to.
one said
You don't
solely.
have to. That doesn't have to be the only objective, but
Right,
it
but that
should be
should be
included.
an objective, correct?
In a sense, if it's a person I've been with for a while and it gets to a point where if you fuck so many times and don't come, women's self esteem gets really weird. So I'll be
You
like,
Women's
think
what? Wait, what? What? Women's what?
self
self
esteem.
esteem? Yeah, you
Self esteem.
think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that would fuck me up. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
So
lie. I'd be like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like, I would honestly just wouldn't even bother.
Like,
I'd be like, "What are we doing?"
if I'm in a relationship for a while or it's somebody I'm really comfortable with, I don't want them feeling bad like they can't please me. So I w-
Yeah, because that's how I would take it. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it 100. That is exactly how I would take that
and
shit.
as I got older, it's more understandable. So if it's somebody I'm comfortable with and have been with for a while, I'll tell them before you tap out, give me a 2 minute warning. And in that 2 minutes, just let me fuck however I want to fuck. And fuck it. The jizz is all yours. Just
You
let me
just
know where you want it.
so you just around here wanting to puncture all the uteruses.
It's a 2 minute fucking drill. Like, what do you want? And at the same time, speaking of
Well,
what we wanted to be when we grew up, there was a point where I started getting pussy and realized,
you want to be
okay,
a
I
porn
am
star?
what I am. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to be a porn star, but few people can
No,
actually live
everybody
up
do
to the
they?
does
hype.
it.
Men.
I was about to say, do they?
Yeah, every man, ideally, until you watch behind the scenes porn, is like, I want to do that. But most don't have the ability to do it.
Uh,
I studied it. Like I watched a bunch of behind the scenes shit. I understand when they say it's go time, you got 10 to 30 seconds to get hard when there's a lot of starting and stopping. There's okay, it's time for the money shot. You have another 10 to 30 seconds to come. Like I'm very in control of what I'm doing. It doesn't it doesn't
huh.
take an
You
hour of
sound
fucking
very
for me to
knowledgeable.
come, but if you could take an hour's worth of dick, I'm
You,
going to give it to you. But when it's time to
Amen.
come, I
you
can
sound very
control it.
knowledgeable. You sound very knowledgeable. That's another
Are
way
there
we can
others
I'm
make
like
a
you?
money.
nerd. I study my shit.
You need to start a support group and invite me.
Yeah.
It is so simple as
Wow.
anything you're passionate about, you're going to learn and attempt to be better at. It's all a matter of effort after that.
I suppose.
All right.
So, Star,
Yes.
what has went wrong in your sex life to the extreme?
The way you make that
This is gonna
sound.
be a long fucking episode. Y'all can kiss ass on that 45-minute shit.
I
Yeah.
was being intimate with this guy. I was having sex with this guy. Well, I won't even say it was sex because it didn't even get that far. Basically, he he was going down on me, and when I orgasm,
Okay, how is that not
well, I
sex? I
mean,
just want to.
Sucking ain't fucking and eating ain't cheating.
Okay, but
yeah,
she
I
said
mean,
it's not
yeah, it is
sex yet.
technically
Oral does
okay,
not
yeah, but
count.
we
It's
didn't
not
even get to the point
intercourse.
of doing
Okay.
going any further.
Doing the
Not that it
nasty.
Okay.
it wasn't gonna go there anyway, but anyway,
You say y'all nasty. Okay.
he's
Go
giving
ahead.
head, I orgasm, and I have a condition where, like, I orgasm harder than most normal people. In that, at
Wow.
what?
Oh, I
Oh,
said wow. I
Oh
said
shit, lucky you.
that is quite
uh,
a well, I was saying that's quite a quantitative assessment, but
anyway,
go on.
let's not go there. How about this? So,
Okay.
so I have my moment immediately after you get that feeling that you're having the orgasm. It was like this rush went up to my head and straight to my right eye. It literally felt like
Mm.
somebody was stabbing me in the eye with
Yeah.
an ice pick. Um,
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
and all I could do was just grab my head, and I'm just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like whatever. We have aneurysms have been a part of my family history, medical history, and so I begin to get really afraid. I try my best not to panic, but I'm just like, okay, we need to go to an ER, and I opened up my eyes, and it was like that made it hurt even more. So he's getting dressed, he's helping me get dressed, and I'm trying to keep my eyes closed as much as possible. He's like, all right, let's go to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. So we get in, and I tell the triage nurse what's going on. I'm like, it feels like somebody stabbed me through the eye, whatever, whatever. And she goes, when was the onset and what brought that on? And so I explained to her it happened during orgasm, and she just kind of had this look like, oh, kind of lost her poker face for about 0.5 seconds, but they take me to the back. We're waiting. The assessment person comes in and then they leave. And in between the time that the assessment person comes in and the doctor comes in, we start seeing like these little groups of nurses. They would be either two or like three, and like they would peek in to the little station or stall that we were at. And I didn't think anything of it at first. However, the doctor comes in and they go, he goes, oh, well, I'm going to send you for an MRI, whatever, whatever. When he leaves, there's more nurses that are coming, and these are different nurses. It wasn't like 50 of them, but in hindsight, it was at least a good 10. And I realized that triage nurse must have said something to some other nurses and how everything spread. You understand? They probably peeking in and like, let's
Yeah.
see who did this. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, hospitals are
right.
gossip
But
factories.
mind
Trust
you,
me.
I'm not realizing what's going on. When I told the triage nurse, she probably already assumed what it was, but whatever. So then go says, what you probably have is colloidal cephalgia. And I'm like, what is that? And then in my head, I'm like, colloidal cephalgia. I'm like, a sex, orgasm today? So then he says, yeah, like at the time that it occurred to me what it could possibly be, he goes, yes, it's considered to be a sex headache. He's like, but I'm sending you for the MRI, whatever, whatever. So I go for the MRI, and unfortunately, this is
Mm-hmm.
where my ex worked. So I ran into somebody else who knew my ex, and even though this person didn't know what was going on, they told my ex because my ex was on
Mm-hmm.
staff that night. So he comes down and, like,
Damn.
hey, what's going on? Whatever, whatever. So he picked a little thing up off the table. It's not like a chart. It's like, I can't explain it, but he picks it up. He's looking through it or whatever, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. They said it's colloidal cephalgia. And he kind of like twisted, like his head kind of like for a minute. And then he looked, and then he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, oh. And he looked at dude, and dude kind of like just raises his shoulders up, like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
son, you never sent her to the ER.
No, but then he was like, yeah, I'm about to go back to doing what I was doing. He leaves out or whatever. And then my friend was like, oh, he's probably sitting up
I
thinking
know who
like,
you're talking
I
about
never did
too.
that.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about, and I can picture his
Oh
face.
my God. It was terrible. So, but colloidal cephalgia, sex headache, I didn't do anything for a minute because that shit was so freaking scary.
No shit.
So then he was like,
Yeah, that'd scare the
so
hell
once
out of
everything
me.
calms down, we're on the ride home, and he's helping me in the house, and like, I'll stop back by tomorrow to get your prescription, whatever, whatever. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, get out of my face. I like don't ever want to see you again. But so
Right.
he was like, oh, it was probably just a freak accident. Maybe you were low on potassium or something like that. He says, like the doctor says or whatever. And I was like, are you saying that to suggest that maybe, we can take this further? And he was like, well, why not? We vibe well. I was like, dude, you're never touching me again. Like, ever.
Ever. Like ever in life.
I cannot.
Am I the only asshole man listening to this? Like, I have new goals in life. I I got to give chicks aneurysms and make them go deaf. Clearly, I've not been doing my part in life.
Yeah. No. Well,
Terrible. Just terrible.
It's good for their egos.
Yeah,
Oh,
it wasn't
well,
no fun for me though.
First of all, I never tell dudes that, I can't hear them. I never would tell them that.
Well, I couldn't keep that to myself. I couldn't have a Tony moment. Couldn't keep it to myself.
I'm very good at playing my cards close to the vest. So not one of them knew have ever known that that's what went down.
Why?
Because you're a fibber.
I don't know. No. I mean, if anything, it's a lie of omission because it just never came up.
You would think that would be something
And
you
also,
should mention. He might be telling you how
why?
much he loves and respects you afterwards,
Man,
and
you
you
can't
can't
hear
even hear
nothing.
what's happening.
Okay, well, first of all, that would not be the moment to tell me all that and have me take him seriously.
Sometimes the lies feel good.
And wait a minute. What if it's legitimately...
Well, then you should tell me at a time where it's not likely to be a lie or not likely to be the moment. Well, let me shut up.
No, go on with it.
Guys are always telling me they love me either during or afterwards. It doesn't do anything for me.
But what if they legitimately do?
Well, then they should tell me at a more appropriate time.
Okay, what if they're just reiterating it during?
Okay, well, if they've told me at an appropriate time before, then I believe them. But if that's the first time I'm hearing it, I'm not likely to believe them anyway.
So,
okay,
here's
that makes sense.
In my 20s, maybe even in my 30s, if some dude would just be like, oh my God, I love you so much, whatever, afterwards, I wouldn't even, whatever. 40s, 50s, do you really think guys are still doing that?
Yeah, it's a fucking reflex.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Oh, shit.
For some people or for some men, I would really like to think that that's like a time that they're comfortable, maybe even a little more open.
Sure, I would love to think that too, but if the first time you're telling me how much you love me is while we're in the mix or directly afterwards, then I gotta believe that that's just a fucking
But you don't
reflex.
be laying there like, yeah,
and you
that's
don't
some
mean
good ass
shit.
pussy though.
Yeah, but that would like really kind of piss me off if that was my mindset.
They make whole songs about this.
I understand and I get it, but it's just like you would figure after a certain age, why would you do that? It's pointless.
20.
But
it was more pointless at 20 to me.
Well, you do silly shit at 20. You know, you do silly shit at 20, and then, a lot of guys, they either are taught or they learn just through hearing other guys talk shit that tell them what they want to hear kind of type thing. But you would think they would know better by 40, 50, beyond.
You would think.
You would think.
Bullshit. Like, that would make me mad.
But I just think people get caught up in the moment and then they just say shit. Well, I'm not either,
not
but
in that
apparently
moment.
people
Like,
are.
I made a mistake. And I was in my 20s, though. I made a mistake and told a guy that I loved him. And I didn't even know where the hell that came from.
Exactly.
But I was in my 20s.
The dick.
I know, but I'm just saying it was an involuntary reaction. You know what I mean? It wasn't even something that you were thinking consciously about. It was just an involuntary. It's like sexual Tourette's,
That's a title.
Yeah, I don't wanna come across none that good that's gonna pull me that far out myself. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just saying, that far out of myself where I'ma just basically spit out a lie.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
no, I'm good. Jesus.
The notorious just.
I wanted to have a talk about
Okay.
marriage
I'm sorry.
and why it's a not such a great idea for
What for
women
men?
and a much better idea
Who the
for
fuck
men.
said it was a good idea for men?
Turns out the science says it's a good
Yeah,
idea
we
for
get to
men.
die faster than y'all.
You get to live longer when you're married,
But
actually.
we still die
Yeah.
before y'all.
Well, yes, we live longer
Y'all
because
are
we don't do
killing
dumb shit.
us.
No, we live longer because we don't do dumb shit.
That
Like,
part I'll give you. You're
balance
still
ourselves
killing
on
men.
No, we're not. In fact, it seems we're keeping them alive because, according to the National Center for Health
Torture helps you
Statistics,
live longer.
marriage helps
That's
you
what
live
I
longer.
said.
Now, torture. It should be noted that the death rates for married men and women are down since 2010. They're down about 7% across the board.
People are generally living longer.
Um, yes and no. There's no change for divorced men or women. They're not living longer. Once you get divorced, your longevity is impacted.
Totally worth it.
Are you gonna let me get through
Maybe.
this?
I'm sorry, I'm passionate.
For widowed people, the death rate is actually higher.
You said for divorced people
But
it is?
No, for widowed people.
for
But if
divorced
you
people,
notice,
there's
like
no
with your
change.
grandparents, when one goes, the other one ain't too
Yeah,
far
it doesn't
after.
take too long. Right.
And that seems to be the factor. If you've been married to someone for a long period of time, once they die, then it impacts your longevity. However, it should be said that widowed women tend to do better with it than widowed men.
Because you're happy because you killed off a
Because-
fucking man. But, okay.
No, that's not true.
Shit.
That's
I
not
think
it.
in that case, it's more so because women just are more nurturing, and then we're more adaptable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes. In 1972, there was a famous study published by a lady named Jessie Bernard called The Future of Marriage. That's where we first heard that marriage is not good for women because the women who never get married tend to live longer than married women, by and large. However, the inverse is true for men. Married men seem to live longer than men who have never gotten married. Now, since then, there have been a lot of more studies done because it should be noted that Jessie Bernard was also a flaming feminist. So, I just want to put that out there. There were a lot of studies that were done after that to try to refute her numbers. And what they found was that her numbers were mostly true. However, the differences are starting to get better. Men who have never been married are starting to live a little bit longer in comparison to married men now. And I think some of that is a societal thing because it used to be that women just took care of the men. Like that was our role, was to take care of men. So if you were married, you had somebody that was
man and the woo man, but okay.
Taking care of the household and making sure you got to your appointments and cooking your meals and all this other stuff. And now, because gender roles are changing, I think some men are doing that for themselves, which helps them out.
Single women still pretend to love you, so you can probably live a lot longer now.
Okay. There's also the sexual health aspect of it. There is a correlation between men's overall health and the amount of ejaculations
Skeet.
that they have per month. So that's a thing. But women tend to do better than men when living alone.
Probably, yeah.
Also, women tend to be more disillusioned by marriage than men are.
Amen
Um,
Ra.
whereas close to 70% of divorces are initiated by women. Now, I think that a lot of that, the disillusionment, is that women are fed this fairy tale about marriage, whereas men aren't.
Yupper.
You know what I mean? Like no one's telling men how great marriage is.
Because it's a fucking lie.
Yes, Neil. So I can totally see where that disillusionment comes.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it should be noted, and we talked about this in a previous episode, and I disputed, and I was right. Men are more likely to get remarried than women are. The remarriage rate among men is almost twice the rate that it is among women. Yeah.
Most men are dependent on women to like take care of the house and home, whereas once women are single, men are shallow. Who's trying to fuck the old bitch?
And I don't think the discussion was marriage. I thought that the discussion was love. That was the discussion.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
Part and parcel. Yes, it was. But I'm just saying.
Trust me, if I get married again, it's because I'm gold digging. It ain't for love at all.
Wow.
The notion that men are right.
It's cute when women do it. Get the fuck. We equal rights out here.
I gotta hit that fucking number. Anyway, but the notion that women are more forgiving about it than men are, I think, is kind of a fallacy. I think
it's not a matter of that women are more forgiving. It's men are fucking shallow. There's a bunch of motherfuckers my age out here chasing people their daughter's age. Well, it's purely looks based.
Okay. I don't disagree with you in a lot of that, because I think a lot of that has to do with maturity. If you out here, that big ass bald spot in the back of your head, talking about she don't look the same, and so you need a younger woman, it is a little bit of disconnect from reality, and you're not really
irony.
Being real with yourself. And a lot of that is, I feel a lot of that has to do with maturity.
And there's something to be said for the ability to pay to play.
Yes. It's a lot of women out here that can pay to play these days.
And I'm trying to get one.
Again, gender roles are changing. And old women are in these days. I'm just letting y'all know, because it seems like the older I get...
fucks with grown women, but...
I'm just saying, the older I get, the more young dudes hit on me. I don't know what that's about.
Them titties. You're gravity. Cool too, but I'm saying I'm cool. Initial reaction.
Yeah, they do walk into the room before I do. Oh, dear. But so anyway,
we're hot.
Star?
Cougars. We hot.
Yeah.
I'm all for gilfs.
And then the young guys, a lot of the younger guys, though, some of that is security. They looking to be taken care of.
You gotta keep in mind, these young chicks ain't about shit. They don't cook, they don't clean, they don't work. They just be trying to look cute. Like, fuck what you look like on Instagram. What are you as a person? And it's nothing.
Well, a lot of the young guys are not much better, I hate to tell you.
That much is a given, but they fresh out of mama's house, so they looking for a replacement.
Well, I guess. I've run into some young dudes that are cool, and some of them seem very mature for their age, but you get to talking to them, and you realize how young they are.
Anybody under 30 trying to speak to me, I'm like, what your mama look like? I ain't got 30? Time for whatever the fuck you talking about.
I need you to at least be 40. At this point,
if I'm actually going fuck, yeah, but if you're between 30 and 40, I hear you out.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm a hear, under 40 at my age. But you're a lot younger than me, so that's.
Beige don't age.
Yes.
You've been married. You think you'd ever do it again?
Um, that
It's a long
it
pause.
is a long pause because how about this? Right after we separated, I had said, yeah, I would like to do this again. Well, not necessarily that, but I would like to get
Yeah,
married again. Because the one thing that I still miss about being married is that my ex husband and I were friends first. And I
right.
miss my friend. I do. We can sit
The
up and
companionship.
yeah, well, not
Yeah,
just the because you can have companionship, but like we can sit up and talk about a variety of topics for hours. I miss that. I miss my friend.
right.
Word.
So I was like, I can do this again. And then as the years went past, I was like, I'm not ever. I had a friend that got married and everybody thought it was hilarious except for the mother of the bride. They were like, oh, stand up for the bouquet toss, all the single women. And then people were like, get up, you're single. I'm like, I'm not going. And they're like, it's tradition. Just go up
Oh,
there and stand. And the bouquet came
always,
my way, and I like
I always.
leaned back. Like, I don't want that.
Are you kidding? I always duck and dodge that
I
thing,
was
and
like,
I could probably get it because again, I'm very athletic.
yeah, so am I,
you know,
but I
I
wasn't.
play the I play the paint. So if I wanted that bouquet, I could get it no matter where it's
Yeah,
tossed.
my
But
point is, I wasn't trying. Okay, and
yeah,
I'm athletic as
me
well,
neither.
and it's just like I like leaned back from it because it looked like it was coming my way, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
Anyway,
I would
for years,
deliberately go in the opposite direction.
for years, that's where I was with it. Where I'm at now, I could do it again. However, I used to be really perplexed by people who have been in long term relationships and like live separately from one another or
Oh my God, that sounds like heaven.
yeah, that sounds like heaven to me right about now. I think that's where I'm getting with it. Like the older I get, it's just I don't know at this point in my life how I would feel about another person sharing my space.
Your space,
Um,
exactly.
Not that I'm selfish. It's just I'm really used to things being where I put them. Um, when I laugh with with the exception of my daughter, good grief. But he's not going to be messing with my sunglasses, hopefully, because that's a whole nother discussion. But
Yeah,
he's not going to be stealing my shoes and my jewelry and and stuff like that. But
I'm trying to
there's
talk to you while the game is on and shit. I would ask Magic, but we know where he stands on the subject. Although, as we've learned today, he better hurry up and find love again so that he can live longer and entertain us.
Death is not that bad.
Well, you don't know because you've never been dead.
well, he does know what he
I
don't
ain't
have
never
to
seen a
deal with.
motherfucker jump up out of a grave and go, "This is so goddamn stressful."
Well, you don't live in Louisiana, but
Oh hell no! You keep that hoodoo stuff down in the bayou.
I was asked this question recently because I've been single for a long time. So they're like, "Well, at this point, would you ever even consider it?" And the reason I brought up the study in 72, I think I read something about it back then, like I had it in my head. I'm never going to marry a man unless he's worth me giving up years of my life. Unless he's worth me dying a couple years earlier for.
But how would you even know that? You don't come here with an expiration date. You don't know that they're shortening your life.
Even still, at what point is age
Well,
overrated?
I mean, in theory, well,
Like, who's trying to be 120?
Well, and then that's the other thing.
And that's a whole nother discussion because I'm telling you.
That's a whole other discussion because I honestly thought that I would die young to begin with. I don't know why I thought that, but I always had it in my head.
It was pumped into black people's head all throughout the 90s.
Not so much me. No. I just thought it was a statistic thing for me because.
So you didn't watch the news? You didn't read
No,
Newsweek or Time or.
Well, I've always done that. You have to understand things that they talked about in Newsweek and Time always had to do with environment. I didn't think I was going to get gunned down or that I would fall prey to any kind of drug or anything like, you know what I mean? Like what I thought was going to happen was that I was going to get into an automobile accident and that would be the end of it. And just somewhere in my mind, that was like going to be 29. So I was just like, I am not going to spend my time trying to be somebody's wife because that was just too much for my psyche to bear. Like, I was never the kid that was like, I'm going to be someone's wife and I'm going to have this wedding. And yeah, it just was never.
You never wanted to love and be loved?
That's a whole different discussion. That has nothing to do with marriage. I mean, it does, but
ideally,
you can have love without marriage, is what I'm saying. Loving and being loved, yeah, I completely had that expectation. But marriage just was never anything that was foremost in my mind. So, when it did come up, I guess I still had that aversion to it. And so it was always, I don't think so. Also not the right guys, I guess, is also the thing.
See, for me, I was never that girly girl. I never, dreamed of being the princess or the damsel being swept off my feet. I never really dreamed any of that stuff, and I never really thought about being married to someone until. What are you laughing at?
Oh, I'm like, until it happened.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, until
pretty much how it works.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, how because some girls dream, like finding, whatever. I was not necessarily. Yeah. Now, did I dream of being in great relationships? Yeah, but as far as being married to someone, it wasn't even a thought really in my mind until the first time that my ex-husband asked or even had a conversation about it. I said no.
Yeah.
But it was because I knew I wasn't ready. And even when...
there was one time in my life I considered it. And I'm so glad that it didn't happen because I was not ready. He was not ready, and it would not have turned out well at all.
Ours didn't turn out well for a bunch of different reasons. For me, when we did tie the knot, it wasn't that I did not love him. It wasn't that I was not in love with him, because I certainly was. I just still wasn't ready. I did it primarily because I knew he wanted to be married, and I felt like if I kept saying no, then he would go away, and I didn't want that. To me, the alternative was
worse.
Yeah. So I was like, well, even though I didn't feel like I was quite ready for marriage, I did know enough about myself to know that I was not quite marriage material. And even though I thought I was giving him what it was that he wanted, had I had known anything about myself, I would have realized the best gift I probably could have ever given him was to absolutely say no again.
Yeah. And kind of building on what you said, that's kind of where I am now with the whole marriage thing. Like, I would have to meet somebody who was so awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, that the prospect of being without him was worse than the prospect of me being free.
Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing in that
Yes.
most people expect the person they're trying to be with to adapt to their shit without wanting to adapt to that person's shit?
Yeah.
Yes, I do see that.
Okay.
I don't really want anyone to adapt to my shit. I guess, like, I've never had that expectation, which is why I've always been fine being single. Like, it's never been an issue for me where I'm like, I have to get married by a certain age. That's never been the superior state of being in my mind. So I've never,
The superior or ultimate?
well, superior, because in our society,
Oh yeah, there's a hierarchy for a lot of
there's a
people.
hierarchy.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And a lot of people, you're not as worthy, especially as a woman, if you're not married. You know what I mean? It's just a weird thing about society.
I just look at married couples and go, God damn, one of them is miserable as hell.
There are some married couples where I'm like, I totally get how y'all found each other and thought each other were great. And there are also some married couples where I'm like, I need y'all to stay together because we can't unleash
The
either
world
one of
don't
y'all
want
crazy
either one of y'all,
on the
right?
world. Exactly. You know,
Those are the ones that last,
yeah.
though.
Well, and they should. And thank goodness they do. But then there's some where I look at and I'm like, I don't know how the fuck y'all got together. Like, how did that happen?
Opposites be attracting.
I guess. I don't know.
As it was told to me, you never know what goes on behind closed doors.
And there's that, because there have been a lot of couples that I thought were happy on the surface, and then next thing you know, the whole thing blows the fuck up. And I'm like, oh. Did not know that all that was going on.
These hoes ain't loyal.
And there's something to be said about that too. I think there needs to be an upfront discussion about that. But I also think that there needs to be a continuous discussion about that, because circumstances
Doesn't work.
change. I don't know. I just don't understand all these people who are marrying people that they don't really know much about. You know what I mean?
Marriage isn't. It isn't respected. Like, really,
I
it's
agree.
something people feel like we can do and we can throw away at whatever point we
And you
get
know
sick
what?
of it. People are taking marriage
And,
like what used to be
and
boyfriend
you know what?
and
I've always
girlfriend.
said that, because people always say to me that I don't respect marriage because I'm not married. And I say, on the contrary, I respect it more than a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm
Because,
getting divorced
yeah,
because I respect
yeah,
marriage.
I'm not, I respect it more because I'm not about to just go get married just so I can say I'm married. Not about to do that.
Save the men some money on some rings.
Men. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, if I were to find someone who I felt, that dude, then yeah, I probably would. Especially at this point in my life, because what have I got to lose? You know what I mean? Like, if he kills me, then I've already
Oh my life.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, but it would have to be like the perfect circumstance, and
There's no such thing.
well,
Well, there are great circumstances,
yeah,
though.
I was gonna say maybe not perfect,
Yeah, in the beginning.
but
Well, it
optimal.
can. I don't know. Yeah, you're not making me very hopeful. We have to wrap this up because I have
We have to.
somebody that's here to help me do some stuff in my yard that the
Mm-hmm.
trash people did not do today.
In your yard.
At 12:30 at night.
Yeah, because if we don't take care of it tonight, it's going to be
Yeah.
Nah, hey, and get your yard work
no.
on.
If we don't take care of what the trash people left behind tonight, it's going to be a freaking science experiment outside tomorrow.
Whatever you
Right.
want to call
I'm
it.
just saying.
Yard work.
Think what you think. It's not
that's
yard work. It's taking the
Science
trash.
experiment.
Get out of here.
Trash. That's what the kids are calling it these days, I guess.
Get your man out the gutter.
I don't know. Just tell them you get headaches.
You know what? I want you to go to sleep immediately. Go lay down now.
Yeah, you're gonna be busy anyway.
Taking out the garbage.
Yeah, that's what the kids are calling it.
Yep, okay. You
I ain't took
perv.
out the white trash in years. Anyway.
Right. You perv.
You nasty some
Jesus
bees.
Christ.
So anyway, I just wanted to say real quick that people should probably check out a book called Singled Out: How Singles Are Stereotyped, Stigmatized, and Ignored, and Still Live Happily Ever After by Bella DePaulo, PhD. Check that out.
It's because they're still fucking on a regular basis. It increases happiness.
Why wouldn't you do that when you're married? But never mind. Look,
Topic
I'm gonna
for
need you to
another
talk to
week.
your homegirl. Shit don't be going down like that.
Topic
Who?
for another week.
Yeah, topic for another week.
Right?
What happens to sex once married?
Yeah, because I don't get it.
There's a level of insecurity that exists beforehand, and marriage creates a level of security
which is,
that you feel like you don't have to do the shit that
oh,
got you
I'm
into
sorry.
the position
You'll
you're
have to
in.
perform for me on a. Anyway, can we get
Perform like he's a damn circus animal?
Pretty
Anyway,
much.
can we
Yes.
sign off, please?
You know she's a manist.
What? How dare you?
You're a
Okay,
manizer.
but for real, holla at me after.
Good night, motherfuckers.
Okay,
I'm
well,
tired.
can we get a proper
I'm really
outro?
not tired. I just gotta find some porn. Good night, people, or good day whenever the fuck you listen to this. If you like the show, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a hoe. If you don't like it, tell everybody you know. Check us out at some point on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, somewhere. We're gonna be there. Anonymously.
Good night, everyone, or good afternoon, or good morning, whichever one it is. Take what you need.
Peace the fuck out.
Peace.